Shri Vishnu. Shri Vishnu. Shri Vishnu.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Everyone. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
Samsara dava nala lida loka
Nalita Loka Pranaya Karunya Gana Ganata
Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam
Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam
Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam
Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
Om Hari Om. Very good. Namaste, everyone, and welcome to the latest Satsangha and live stream of the International Sanatana Dharma Society. As many people who are here with us know, both certainly the people in our congregation, but many of the people who are joining us throughout the world online, this is something that we have done for quite a few years now, these live streams. We've done them for approximately 4 to 5 years, something like that. The work of the ISDS, however, the International Sanatana Dharma Society, goes back a very, very long way, and probably longer than most people, especially more recent people, even understand fully. I mean, they know that the organization itself was founded in 1998. It was actually incorporated as a tax-exempt organization later than that, maybe 2008 or 9, I forget the exact year. And in actuality, my teaching mission goes back to 1988, which is when I first began teaching. And I was living in Chicago, Illinois at the time. But we have been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And the ISDS as an organizational construct, again, we've been here for 26 years now. This year of 2024 represents 26 years in which we have been working under this name, International Sanatana Dharma Society. And the things that we have done over these years have been enormous. And sometimes I need to be reminded myself. People will attest to that, that sometimes I will think about this and I'll even lose track of how much we've done. The fact that we've put out 13 books, and pretty sizable books actually, some of them close to 500 pages, several of them actually close to 500 pages. And the fact that, we've been putting videos, for example, onto YouTube almost since the beginning of YouTube. I believe we began putting videos up, individual videos, maybe around 2007. So like maybe a year or two after YouTube even started. And back then, of course, for people who remember the old YouTube, you could only put videos up that were no more than 10 minutes long. If you had a long video and you wanted to put the whole thing up, you had to split it up. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And of course, that's changed now, thankfully. But we've been putting videos up since the very early days. And many of these videos were seen by tens, indeed hundreds of thousands of people, individual videos. Our video, The Coming Golden Age, it's been seen by well over 400,000 people, maybe 450,000, something like that. And then we have several videos, quite a few, that are in the hundreds of thousands. So again, the ISDS, we have done quite a bit in the last 26 years. And the growth has truly been exponential. You know, people use that word a lot without fully grasping what it truly means. And that is that, it hasn't just grown kind of incrementally to the same degree throughout the expanse of time. But the growth at first was extremely slow, to the point where I could say very honestly, it didn't grow in the very beginning. Meaning the late 90s, very early 2000s. There wasn't a lot of interest in authentic spirituality back then. There really wasn't, unfortunately. Almost 100% of let's say, alternative spirituality. I'm giving a little talk now on the history of religion in America, but that's all right. Please bear with me. We're heading somewhere. Back then, especially, other than truly traditionalist religions, that is, if you were a fundamentalist Christian or Muslim or something like that, any form of so-called alternative spirituality that existed in America and in the West, it was New Age. And even if it didn't call itself that, it was tinged by New Age belief, whether those individuals knew that or not. There was not a lot of interest in something truly authentic, something truly real at all. And I know because I was teaching back then, trying to build the ISDS, in the year 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, etc. And 99% of the people who came to us were, again, sadly, infected by New Ageism. So the ISDS barely grew at all, very early on. But then little by little, it began growing. And at first the growth was small, then it got a little bit faster. And then beginning, roughly 10 years ago, something like that, there was an explosion of growth in the ISDS. We had certain individuals who joined, who were radically sincere, who actually truly wanted the message that I was giving, which was something truly real. No nonsense, truly real. They wanted religion. Yes, I said the dirty word that New Age people hate. They wanted real religion. They wanted something that made sense and that would give their life not a fleeting meaning, it made me feel good today. I feel better about being a terrible person. That's what the New Age people want, sadly. They want to feel better about themselves for being terrible human beings. We never offered that. Again, that's why we didn't grow at all in the beginning. But then we began to have people flock to us who wanted something truly real. Not just feel good, not just quick pat answers, but real answers. Where you ask a question, we'll answer you for half an hour. We'll answer you for half an hour, and no nonsense in our answers, no fluff. We will answer you thoroughly, and we will give you the answers. This is what people began searching for, again, roughly 10 years ago. And these people started flocking to us. So then, the ISDS exploded in growth. And we began to become truly the International Sanatana Dharma Society. And we began to have followers in nation after nation after nation after nation, to the point where today, certainly this is our largest period of growth in our history, our 26-year history, really about 34 years since I began teaching. We've never been bigger. And why is this the case? This is the case, because we always had the right message. You see, our message has never changed. We pride ourselves in that. We don't change in accordance with the times. We teach the truth. If in teaching the truth, the times do not align to the truth, so no one comes, fine, we teach the truth. If, on the other hand, the times have changed and now people flock to us, it's still the same truth. The truth does not change. So this is where we find ourselves now, that everything has changed in our world. And people are tired. After decades and generations, they're tired of being lied to. They're tired of being lied to by spiritual, quote, religious leaders. They're tired of being lied to by every single talking head that they see staring at them on screens. They're tired of being lied to, God knows, by politicians, the vast majority of them, by political bureaucrats. They're tired of being lied to by advertising. They're tired of being lied to by corporations, by companies who treat their customers like garbage now. Truly, truly. Try calling one of these massive corporations if you have a problem, and you'll know. They treat you like garbage. They don't respect you as a customer anymore. Companies used to. People have had enough. People want the truth now. They really do. Why? Because they have tried living a life of untruth. Again, they've tried listening to all those voices that lied to them, and they had misery. And it's come to the point now where they want someone who will tell them the truth, and we tell people the truth. We always have. Again, at one time the truth was not popular, so we had very few people come. Now people want the truth. Now we have so many followers throughout the world that it's amazing. So many people who are involved in the ISDS in one way or another. But this is indeed what has changed, is that we are now living in the beginning of an era in which truth is going to prevail. Satyam eva jayate. Truth itself prevails always. Not everyone embraces that truth, but the truth itself, there's never a time when the truth is not prevailing, when truth is something other than the truth. Truth does not surrender to untruth in even the smallest way. People do. People surrender to truth. People surrender to untruth. People will surrender to whatever they think in their illusion is in their interest at the time. But the truth itself never changes. This is how the International Sanatana Dharma Society has operated since the beginning. And this is how I have operated since before I was born. That we serve the truth, and nothing else matters. We serve the truth. If people laud us and throw money at our feet and give us fame for telling the truth, nice. If people reject us and stay away from us because we are telling the truth, fine. But we tell the truth. We tell the truth. We tell the truth. This is what we do. This is what I have done throughout my life. This is what the ISDS has done since its existence. All this being said, the reason why I'm saying this is because I want to thank those individuals who indeed have flocked to us. Those people who were always there, and we have some people who are with us who have been with us for 20 years. And we have some people who have been with us for a month. And of course, everything in between. And let me tell you, it's one thing for me to go on and talk in this more general way about, people are coming to us now. Not just are people coming to us, but people are helping us. That's the important thing, and that's also why we have grown exponentially. We now have volunteers quite literally throughout the world in so many different nations. Let me tell you a little inside secret. This is one one indicator, and this is just one example. Every time I write a book, we need someone who is an expert to create a book cover for it. We need someone who is an expert to create a book cover for whatever is my next book coming out. Let me tell you that when I inform our volunteers that, I have another book that's going to come out in a month or two, we have 4 or 5 people who immediately come and volunteer and say, I'm a professional graphic artist. Can I please do the book cover? If anything, we have too many people who want to help us, to the point where, without my even asking, I believe we already have book covers set for the next 3 or 4 books I haven't even written yet. They've already created the covers because we couldn't stop them. A lot of people don't know that. But I've had people, expert artists, beautiful, wonderful artists, who out of the blue, they'll email me and they'll send me, this is a cover for X book that is like number 4 in the queue. It's not even going to come out until deep into next year. And they'll send me, Acharyaji, what do you think of this? And I didn't even ask them to do that. We have so many volunteers, and that's just one example. Same thing with IT, same thing with outreach, same thing with everything that we're doing. We have so many people who are so eager to help in every aspect of growing the ISDS that it's truly astounding, to the point where we almost need to keep them a little bit at bay. That's wonderful that you've created a book cover for a book that I'm planning on releasing in 5 years. Thank you. But hold on. Let me write the book before you actually give us the cover. But of course, I'm joking. We appreciate it all, and this is the point. This is why the International Sanatana Dharma Society has grown, is because of all the help of those sincere individuals who, like I said, they came for the right reason. They're seeking something real. They're seeking something authentic. And that being the case, the growth that we've experienced is something that personally I knew and prayed would happen all of my life. But even for me to now see it gives me a gratitude toward God and toward, again, those individuals who have helped us that is inexpressible. I can't even express the gratitude that I have for those people who have helped us with volunteer work, with donations, becoming monthly tithing members, coming here and physically helping in so many ways. I can't tell you, everyone in our congregation, you can't see them, of course, they're on the other side of the camera. They all help in every way imaginable. In every way imaginable. These flowers were created, put together, not literally created, this was not God, but these flowers, the arrangement, were put together by one of our volunteers who is here. The same with the flowers on the altar. You saw them when I was doing the puja. We have people who come here and clean without me even asking them. We have people who help in a million ways. Afterwards, we have, again, one person who is in Australia, who I won't name, who sent us a beautiful print of Krishna. It's enormous. It's very large. We had it professionally framed in a frame that is so beautiful that it's indescribable. At least one of our people later today is going to help us to put it up on our wall. And I hope we can do it because it's so heavy. I hope we can get nails big enough. And afterwards, we'll take photos and we'll share it with everyone on social media. And on and on. We have people in our congregation who every week, without exception, they come and they bring and they offer incense every single week. And on and on. Indeed, I have to stop myself now, because if I were going to now begin to thank everybody, this is what we would do for the next 3 hours. But what is my point? My point is this. And I wasn't planning on doing this. This is going to be a Q&A, and please don't worry, we're going to have plenty of Q&A. But I felt inspired to say this. We are entering a golden age. Oh, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. We are entering a golden age. What we see around us is, indeed, Dharma is victorious. Those of you who don't believe that, I'm sorry for you that you don't see it. The rest of us do. Dharma is victorious. No, what does that mean? Suddenly out of the ground, Vedic temples are springing up. in every block of every neighborhood of every nation of the world. No, that's silly. And if you believe that, then you're a silly person. No, that's not what is meant by Dharma is victorious. What this means is that those of us who are awake enough, who have our eyes open, who are not black-pilled, but rather who understand that God is in control and always has been in control, we understand that the signs that we are seeing around us is that we are experiencing the birth of a wonderful new age. See, I have to separate those two. Not new age, but truly a new age, the likes of which we've never seen. A person would have to be sadly comatose to not understand how quickly the world has changed around us. And for the worst, in many ways culturally, yes, the culture keeps getting worse and worse. The demons, there's no depth to which they won't descend. We know that. We know that. You haven't known that? We've always known that. But more, the people are awaking, and the people now, for the first time, many of them, they're seeing the demons in operation. That's how we know. The demons will do what the demons do. But in the past, the demons were doing what they do without people even knowing, without people even being aware. The vast majority of people not being aware. Now what's changed? Now the people are aware. Now the people see. The people disapprove, and the people are fighting back. And we see this throughout the world. And what is this a harbinger of? It is a harbinger of the fact that very soon, within coming months, coming years, we're going to see changes in America and then the world, the likes of which good people have dreamt of for years. And we're actually going to see them. I can tell you, I have spoken with a few of my disciples who they see what's happening around them and they start to cry. And they ask me, is this really happening? Is this really happening? And I have to say to them, you better believe it's happening. We're entering a golden age. We are seeing, why do I have this book up specifically, Radical Universalism? What we are seeing is, again, that people all around us are embracing that which is true. They are rejecting that which is untrue. That's what this book is about. Truthfully, one could say by extension, that's what all of our books are about. What are we seeing? We're seeing true leaders finally arise. For how long have I spoken about how our biggest crisis is that we are lacking leadership? Why are we not doing well economically? Corrupt leadership. Oh, why do the politicians throw their hands up in the air like clockwork? Oh, we don't know what to do about crime. We don't know what to do about... Oh, yes, they do. They're corrupt. Why is it that we do not see when we walk down the streets of our major cities, our minor cities, of villages, of towns, why do we not see sages and saints all around us? Because we don't have leadership in religion and spirituality. Sorry, New Age people, you're the worst of all. You're frauds. You're greedy pigs. You have stolen people's money in the name of, oh, I don't like religion. Oh, but spirituality. In the name of spirituality, you have stolen people's funds to feed your face. We have been lacking leadership. What do we see now? Leadership is arising, what I predicted for decades. I told people, we don't have leadership now, but it's coming. And we've only seen barely the tip of the iceberg. We've seen the first few brave souls who are at the very front lines. There is an army of leaders behind them, and they're coming too. When it comes to spirituality very specifically, the International Sanatana Dharma Society, this movement, this organization that is represented by me, by our members, by this live stream, by so many things that we do, the International Sanatana Dharma Society, and do not doubt this. You're free to doubt it. But please don't doubt this if you care about yourself spiritually. The International Sanatana Dharma Society is the very sharp tip of the spear when it comes to spirituality. Again, this is why only authentic people, people seeking authenticity, are drawn to us now. In this coming golden age, it is the International Sanatana Dharma Society that is going to set the model of what it means to practice and understand true spirituality. I don't say that lightly. And trust me, this is not some sectarian sentiment. It's because we know who we are and what we've done, and we also know everyone else and what they've done. We are the tip of the spear. We are the individuals who, spiritually speaking, we are going to establish this golden age upon the strongest edifice of Dharma, more so than anyone is capable of. Why? Again, leadership. We have the leadership. And forget about me. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the individuals in this room who, again, you can't see. I'm talking about many of the individuals who are commenting on the chat right now. Many individuals who are not commenting, but I know that they're with us. Individuals who can't even make it today because it's a bad time for them. They're in different parts of the world and they're sleeping right now because it's a completely different time zone. Individuals who do not even do anything online, but they are serious, staunch followers of the ISDS. They're not even in our Discord group. They can't even make it to any of the live streams. Oh, but they are serious supporters. We are creating that cadre, that leadership class for the future spiritually. We are creating the Brahmanas. We are creating the true Kshatriyas. We are creating the true leaders for the future. And it is the International Sanatana Dharma Society that more than anything will be responsible historically for the dawning of this golden age. And that because of the things that you have seen us do, and those things that even our closest supporters have not seen, but that we have done behind the scenes. The International Sanatana Dharma Society is like no other organization, movement upon the face of the earth. And indeed, we will establish this golden age. And we will do it in my lifetime and the lifetime of most people who are out there. You will see the dawning of a golden age. Very good. So with that, I'm going to stop there and indeed see if there are any questions that people have pertaining to Sanatana Dharma. You can ask anything you wish. Like always, I simply ask that you ask sincere questions, and more important, that you ask honest questions. Don't ask gotcha questions. Don't ask questions to show that you're smart. The moment you do that, you've shown you're not. Ask very sincere, honest questions about Sanatana Dharma. And for the time that we have together, it will be my pleasure to try to answer everything that I can. I'm not a professor. Don't waste your time asking me academic questions. Ask a professor. Ask me a question that will change your life deeply for the better. Now, what is your opinion on such and such sect from the 2nd century AD compared to Hinduism? Don't bother with questions like that. Ask a professor that. Ask me how you can live a real life and know joy. And those are the sorts of philosophical questions. Very good. So with that, everyone, and the answer to Vishraj is yes, indeed, I do take questions. I'm taking them now. Thank you for your patience. Very good. I will indeed answer this question. And it is, Namaste Acharyaji, is Lord Hanuman really alive or Chiranjeevi? If yes, then in what form? What is the significance of praying to Lord Hanuman, and how was he really able to become a giant and fly? Let me answer the last part first. To become a giant and fly, Number one, he absolutely could do that. Have faith, please. You're born Hindu. Try to have some faith. You see, everyone else has faith in their religion. Sadly, it's Hindus who sometimes doubt their own religion. Please stop. You want to know God? Have faith. And not just faith. Faith based upon actual Vedic knowledge. So let me explain this. Could he become a giant and could he fly? Those were the least significant of his abilities. Any powerful yogi, if you are powerful enough a yogi, you can construct your own planet. In the Vedic scriptures, it talks about such yogis. If you are a powerful enough yogi, you can do things that are much more impressive than expanding your form, which is a siddhi, or flying, which is also another siddhi. So indeed, he could do these things and more. The most important thing is he could do these things because of who he was, his internal nature. And what was that? He was a Shuddha Rama Bhakta. He was a pure devotee of Rama. So absolutely he could do this. Indeed, Lord Hanuman, Sri Hanuman, is alive to this day. Lord Hanuman was here when Lord Rama was here. That was one, and please listen to this carefully, you're not mishearing. You have to throw Western qualitative evolution out because it's garbage. He was here 1.7 million years ago. If you were alive 1.7 million years ago, you would not see cavemen. You would see civilization so vast that would make you tremble in awe. That's when Hanuman was here, and he is still here to this day, and he will continue to be here. In what form is he here? He is here in his own form, the form that he had in the Treta Yuga. Now, what does that mean? He obviously was not human, but let's just use humans as an example. Humans were here 1.7 million years ago. However, they were so vastly more advanced, even physiologically, even in their physical makeup, than humans today, such that you could scarcely look upon them. Oh, you could detect them, but you would scarcely be able to even look upon them. That's the form that Hanuman has, the form that he had back then, and that still persists to this day. That is why, even though he is here and he is in the Himalayas, you can only see him if he wishes you to, if he gives you that blessing. And indeed, there are many people who have. So now, what is the significance of praying to Lord Hanuman and how? First, by understanding again what is the nature of Hanuman. Hanuman is not merely a god, he's not merely a monkey god. This is what, sadly, a lot of Neo-Hinduism has taught. Lord Hanuman is universally acknowledged for one primary reason, and that is that he is the greatest of Rama Bhaktas. And who is Rama? Rama is God. Rama is God, Rama is God. Rama is the avatar of Narayana. Sita Devi is the avatar of Lakshmi Devi. And who is Hanuman? He is the greatest devotee of Sita Rama. That being the case, that is where his quote-unquote power actually comes from, is the fact of his absolute surrender at the feet of Lord Rama. So now, understanding this, what is the significance of praying to Lord Hanuman? One prays to Hanuman not for boons, not for favors, not for money, not for gifts, not for luck. One prays to Lord Hanuman in order to also have that Shuddha Rama Bhakti. That is, to eventually come to the point of having pure devotion to God. This is why one prays to Lord Hanuman, in acknowledgement of the fact that, you know the story, that at one point because again, he was a mystic yogi, this is the aspect of Hanuman that we always forget. This is how he could expand, this is how he could quote-unquote fly, etc. At one point, as a mystic yogi, he takes his fingers and goes like this, and his chest is open. And he opens his chest, and what do you see inside of him? Do you understand the significance? You've probably heard the story, but do you understand the significance? He shows you what is within his being. And what is it? It is Lord Rama. It's Sita Rama. You see, a human being, if you did that, you wouldn't want to look at what's inside them. It would be horrible. It would be like watching surgery happen. But Lord Hanuman is a being who is so in love with God, who is so pure, so good, so enlightened, that when he opens his chest, you see God within. In other words, God is his heart. God is his heart. This is why, with this understanding, we offer our obeisances to Hanuman. It's with the understanding that I too wish to become like this, like Hanuman. Oh, I want the ability to fly? I want to become Hanuman like that? What a waste. You want to fly? What would Prabhupada say? People would ask him sometimes, you know the story. People would ask him sometimes, oh, Prabhupada, I want to be able to levitate. Oh, what do I do to levitate? There's something called an airplane now. You get on it, you pay them a little money, it will take you anywhere. That's what Prabhupada would say. You want to levitate. Oh, you want this mystic power to show off. You want to sit and, I'm 2 feet off the ground. Oh, very impressive. But you wouldn't be able to take yourself to India from New York. A plane can do that. No, we pray to Hanuman. We want to be like Hanuman. Not so we can become giants, not so we can become powerful warriors, not so that we can, quote unquote, fly, but so that we too, within our heart, have nothing but God and love for God. So this is the significance of Hanuman. This is why we pray to him. This is why we love him. Because we understand in him, we see in him what we wish to be. So, yes, pray to Hanuman. Do puja to Hanuman. Offer your pranams to Hanuman. But more importantly, try to be like him. Again, not the flying. That's a cheap trick. Anyone can fly, get a plane. Be like him in that when someone looks in your heart, what do they see? Purity. What do they see? Love. What do they see? Devotion. What do they see? When they look in your heart, they see that you don't have lust for women, you have God. Be like Hanuman in that way. Very good. So I hope that answers your question. Please take it to heart. Very good. Again, I'm not using names these days, but let me just say this next question, you consistently ask good questions, which doesn't surprise me at all. But you ask this question, Namaste Sri Acharyaji, my humble thanks to you, and I hope you are very well. How do I start to feel that I am an Atman in meditation and indeed everyday life? Now, that is, again, a very good question. First of all, let me say thank you for your humble thanks, and I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for asking. Things could not be going better. But let me answer that, because indeed, this is one of our goals spiritually when it comes to the yogic process, meditation, this entire path that we're on, is we want two things, and sequentially in this order, in exactly this order. We want self-realization, Atma-jnana, and we want God consciousness, Brahma Vidya. And in that order, let no one ever make the mistake of telling you, oh, it can be the other way around or anything like that. We need to know ourselves first. We need to know the knower before that knower can know the object of knowledge, the ultimate object of knowledge, which is God. So that being the case, indeed, we wish to have Atman realization. So now let me answer your question. How is it that we can realize ourselves as Atman, both in meditation, but then in actual life as well? First of all, in that meditation, I'm going to go a little bit in depth into this and maybe slightly esoteric. But when we begin the process of meditation, that is, people learn about meditation for the very first time, one of the very first things that happen is, for most people, before we even begin to detect the presence of God per se, first we detect ourselves in a very deep way. What is meant by that? Well, we go through first a process of elimination. And that is that first, in meditation, we begin to understand what we are not. So let me go through this step by step. And it's a fascinating process. It's almost Cartesian in manner. That is, René Descartes, also in his book Meditations, went through a similar process. except in Sanatana Dharma, it's done infinitely better and more in depth. First, you start with the via negativa. You begin by eliminating in meditation that which you are not. So what do we do when we meditate? First, of course, we close our eyes and really we still all the senses. So we try to be in a place, of course, where it's quiet, where we don't have distractions at all. So what's the first thing that we eliminate? We eliminate the exterior. We eliminate all that which obviously we are not because it's exterior to even ourselves as experiencer. So we go into the state of meditation. All right, I know that I'm not the things that I identified with. But now we go even deeper. We try to even lose sight of the physical body, of physicality itself. This is why we try to be in a very comfortable position. I always tell people this, and there's been a reason why. When you go into meditation, physically be comfortable. Be comfortable. Try to sit kind of like I'm sitting now, that is in a traditional yogic manner. So you want to have your back straight, etc. But do sit in such a way that you're not aware of your body. So don't have discomforts. Relax everything. Relax the shoulders, relax the muscles in such a way that your body is not bothering you. Well, now what have you done? As experiencer, you have transcended that which you have identified with for so long, body. But we go deeper. Now that, again, nothing exterior is there, including even the physical body, now we relax the interior. We relax the mind. Indeed, this is one of the main things that we do in meditation. We relax the mind. The mind is always chittering, chattering, etc., etc. What do? We make it still and quiet. We don't suppress it, but we control it in such a way that we say, in the same way that, yes, the TV has been blaring for too long, it's been giving me a headache, let me shut it off now. Quiet, peace. Well, now we do this with our mind. Our mind is like an internal television with 5 sitcoms going on at the same time, blaring at us. Well, now we quiet that and we understand, all right, I'm not the mind. And I won't go through all the steps because truthfully we can for a long time. But what is the point? We begin to eliminate that which we are not, and we realize, all right, I have eliminated the external world. I keep going on. I am still here. All right, I have eliminated, so to speak, the distractions of my body. I am still here. I have eliminated the distractions of mind. I am still here. Emotions, same thing. Emotions can still be flaring. We were angry an hour ago. We were sad. We were depressed, etc., etc. We allow that to come to a rest. And we understand we're not the emotions either. And you see, in this systematic process of via negativa, of negation of that which we are not, do we come here? Here's a question, and I can't ask people out there and all throughout the world, but I can ask our congregation. When we eliminate all of this, do we come to the point where there's nothing left?
No.
Hey, everyone together, say that one more time. What?
No.
No. Because there is always the experiencer. There is always that being who is experiencing. So we can eliminate all that which we are not, but there always is someone there, and that someone is not just a guest who's there with us. No, it is us. It is we as experiencer. So it's at this point that we begin to identify with this experiencer. That experiencer is the Atman. That experiencer is the Atman. In fact, let me put it this way. This is one of the definitions of Atman. That Atman is the experiencer. Anything that is experienced is different from the Atman. It's that simple. So in this way, it comes to a point of identification. Now, let me explain what I mean by that, because that's just a word. What is our problem? Our problem, spiritually speaking, Maya, illusion, is that we have been identifying with everything that we are not. Everything that comes and goes. You see that in fads. What's the latest fad today? No, you don't have to tell me, because it doesn't matter. It's going to go away. There'll be a new fad. We identify with fads. We identify with all sorts of things. Again, with the craziness in our mind, with our emotions, with what our bodies do, this, that, the other. We identify. And this is the problem. We have been identifying with that which is illusion, that which is not us. What we now have to do is to identify with that which is us. And again, who is this stated in the most simple philosophical terms, actually, in phenomenological terms? It is that we are experiencing. Rene Descartes, getting back to him, almost got it right. Cogito ergo sum, he said. He said, I am the thinker. Except he was wrong, of course. He was wrong because he didn't know anything about Sanatana Dharma or yoga. What happens when you stop thinking? See, in meditation, you stop thinking. According to Descartes, you would then cease to exist. We know better. You're not even the thoughts. You're experiencing the thoughts. You are that being who is experiencing. So with this understanding, this is what I would say. And this will be something, one of these things, that is easier said than done. The done means practice. Begin to identify with that experiencer. Once you have traces of that, oh, there I am. I'm the person experiencing all this. Just breathe and go deeper into that experience of the experiencer. Begin to identify with the experiencer in every way. And in this way, it will come to the point where your identity and that experiencer will finally be one because they are one. That's your true identity. So it's a deep process. In your meditation, again, when you've eliminated everything that you know you're not, you know you're still there. You haven't become quite literally a rock, unconscious. No, you're still conscious. But you're simply experiencing the fact that there is nothing that you are experiencing outside of yourself. Now you turn inward and you identify with that experiencer. And in this way, you will understand yourself as Atman. You will truly understand yourself as Atman. Now, that being the case, let me just answer this one last clause. You say, and indeed in everyday life. It begins with meditation. First, it begins with what you do in your sadhana practice, and then you carry that forward into everyday life. Into everyday life, the way that you bring this with you, that is this understanding, this knowing that you are indeed Atman, is by always reminding yourself of that fact. And more, reminding yourself of that fact about yourself, but then also every living being who you encounter. You see, for a person who, has achieved the end goal of meditation and yoga, what is it that they experience in encountering others? They understand that, oh, this person I'm encountering also, this nice person giving me a smile on the street, this ruffian who I have to deal with, this crazy person I have to deal with, this nice little cat who's walking my way and seems it wants me to just pet him. They're all Atman. Remind yourself of that. Remind yourself of that. Remind yourself of that. That regardless of the form, regardless of the clothing that they're wearing, the clothing meaning not literally the clothing, but the body, regardless of the body that they have. And again, even if they're human, regardless of, if they're very nice to you or they want to attack you. You do what you need to do. You don't allow someone to attack you. But you also understand, it's sad. Even that person, they're Atman, but oh my Lord, they just truly don't know it. And you have compassion for them. You have compassion. You still do your job because they're an Atman in illusion. But you understand, they are all Atman. And the more that you practice that samadarshinaha, it's called in the Bhagavad Gita, that is seeing this vision of all beings as Atman, the more you practice this, that also will help you to conduct your life in the world in such a way as Atman. So I hope that answers the question for you. Very good. Very good. This is a very nice question. This is a technical question, and I will answer this. I won't go extremely in-depth because it's so technical, and I don't want to lose a large part of our audience going into this, but I will answer this. It is a good question, and it is, Namaste, Sri Acharyaji. Could you please explain the ontology of Bhu and Nila Devi? Is Bhu Devi not only Mother Earth, but actually Vishnu's eternal consort in Vaikuntha. How can we relate to them? Very good. Now, yes, as far as dealing with the latter part of your question, Bhudevi is understood in several different senses. The way that we relate to her is indeed as the mother goddess. Indeed, the earth herself, one of several names for her, for the earth, is Bhuloka. Bhuloka, that is the planet of Bhu, or Bhudevi. So indeed, when in every civilized culture throughout the world, and even several uncivilized cultures historically, whenever people talk about the earth, it's always a mother. People don't talk about Father Earth. No, they talk about Mother Earth. You know, oh, there was some silly commercial about margarine in the 70s, and it was a famous commercial. I'm dating myself, where they would have this figure, this woman, all throughout nature, just kind of walking through nature, and the idea was that she was Mother Earth, and the idea was they were trying to pretend that margarine was something so natural that even Mother Earth endorsed margarine, which, yeah, everyone's laughing. But in any case, even in a silly commercial like this, they had Mother Earth. What to speak of cultures and religions and civilizations. So indeed, it's understood that the earth goddess is herself indeed a woman, a goddess, etc., who we are to relate to respect, etc., that the earth is herself a personality. And this is the terrestrial way in which we understand what is the concept ontologically of Bhudevi, that she is the essence of the earth herself, but more than this, in the same way that there is a Lakshmi, but then a Mahalakshmi, in the same way that there is a Saraswati, but then a Mahasaraswati. There is Bhudevi, the way that she persists as the personification and the essence of the earth herself, so thus being situated within the material cosmos as the earth planet. So thus, of course, we know, as an example, when the earth was burdened by the weight of evil and corrupt political leaders and kings 53, let's say, 100 years ago, what happened? The earth herself, Bhudevi, was burdened. So she goes to the gods in the form of a cow, and she asks for help. And then they take her to Lord Brahma, the chief of the gods, above even Indra. And then he himself finally appeals to Lord Vishnu, to Narayana, and then Narayana comes as Krishna. So this is, let's say, the more terrestrial aspect of Bhudevi. But now, ontologically speaking, there is the transcendent aspect of Bhudevi, where she is indeed a consort, one of the consorts of Narayana. So this being the case, if you visit any Orthodox Vedic temple, even Orthodox, let's say, Hindu temples, anywhere in America, in Europe, this is also the case in India as well. But when you visit these temples, often what you will see, for example, Venkateshwara, who is an aspect, a Murti aspect of Narayana. Or you will actually see Narayana, and then he will have two primary consorts. He will have Lakshmi Devi and he will have Bhudevi. These are the transcendent aspects of both of these goddesses. So just to give an example, let me speak about Lakshmi Devi for a second. For most people, of course, who is Lakshmi Devi, they appeal to the more terrestrial aspect of who she is. Oh, goddess of fortune. Oh, I want money. Let me pray to Lakshmi Devi. Oh, I'm going to start a grocery store, a business. Let me have a little altar to Lakshmi Devi so I'll make money. That is not inaccurate, but it's woefully short of what our true understanding should be of Lakshmi Devi. There is Mahalakshmi, who is fully transcendent, who is non-different from God, who is the Shakti of the Shaktiman, etc. The same thing with Bhudevi. For that matter, the same thing with Saraswati. I wrote a book about this called The Shakti Principle, where I speak about how this is an aspect of Saraswati that in modern times, now that Neo-Hinduism has destroyed our traditional understanding, that is our real and our authentic understanding. I talk about Neo-Hinduism here and how in the last 200 years it's destroyed the understanding of Sanatana Dharma that existed up until 200 years ago, Saraswati was also understood to be a consort of Narayana. And again, there is Saraswati in the terrestrial sense as concerns merely us, goddess of knowledge, of culture, of wisdom, of civilization, etc. But then there is that transcendent goddess who is also a consort of Narayana. So there are both aspects that are there, and indeed, the way that we need to see this is in the form of not anthropomorphism, but theomorphism. I've said this many times, i.e., not that the terrestrial Bhudevi, Lakshmi Devi, and Saraswati have become consorts of Narayana. The other way around. Their first duty is that they are the consorts, and it is an infinite blessing upon us that they also involve themselves in the material world such that we can access them. Even if that means at first, materially, Sri Saraswati, please help me to do well on this exam. Very material. Sri Lakshmi Devi, please bestow wealth upon me. Bhudevi, please give me of your abundance. I'm a farmer. Please give me all the crops I can possibly have. Rather, we are to understand that higher aspect of who they are. And we are to understand that as consorts, that is Shaktis, Shakti manifestations of the Supreme Being, we are to appeal to them to cultivate bhakti within us. So I can talk about this much more in depth, but due to the time, I'm going to stop there. But very good question. I hope I answered your question, at least to some degree. And because I said this will be a Q&A, I'm going to try my best to get to as many questions as I can. And we will go a little bit over time. Let me just warn people now. Is that okay for everyone here? Okay, we are going to go...
Just the picture.
Okay, we won't go too far over time. No more than an hour or two. No. Just about 15 minutes or so, okay? Is that good? Just about 15 minutes over time. Krishna Prasada is mentioning the beautiful picture that we have to hang up. So yes, we'll have time for that, without doubt. But we'll take a few more questions. Here's a nice question. Very practical, very good question, actually. And it is Namaste, Namaste Acharyaji. I hope you are well. I am. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you are well also. So many positive changes have already, I think you mean occurred in this life. So I am taking it easy. If I push harder, then it becomes discouraging for me. Is it okay to take it easy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In fact, let me talk about this for a minute. First, just generally, and then I want to address specifically exactly what you said here. We are followers of Sanatana Dharma. What does that mean? The eternal natural way. Dharma, the natural way, the way of nature. And that we can talk about endlessly. What is meant by Dharma? What is meant by the ways of nature? Well, I've written a 500-page book about it called Sanatana Dharma, the eternal natural way. There's a lot to know. There's a lot that's there. But one of the aspects of natural law, of the natural order, is that we see this necessary balance between doing, and rest. Doing, and rest. If a person just does nothing but do, that person is probably going to leave this world very early. He's probably going to pass away by the time he's 40. Something like that. We cannot just do. On the other hand, if all a person does is uses every excuse to just rest, that's a lazy person. That's a person who will accomplish nothing in this world. Rather, what do? We do what we need to. We work to the maximum that we can, that we honestly to ourselves know, yes, I've worked a hard day. I've done very good. I've accomplished a lot. That's very nice. Now you rest. Now you rest. And on the one hand, while certainly you want to push yourself, there is, as you said here, there is such a thing as pushing yourself too far to the point where now you're getting discouraged. Now you're losing your health. Now you're not getting sleep, etc. And now rather than having joy in your work, you're starting to have the opposite. Indeed, your work now, the things, the at first positive things that you were doing in your life, are now becoming a source of misery and unhealth, etc., the opposite of Dharma. So this is why, with everything that we do, we are to always balance, again, in an intelligent way, in a real way, and this will look different, a little different from person to person. We have to balance doing with also resting. This is why we have to sleep for approximately 8 hours a day. Think about this. I've thought about this all my life. On the one hand, when I really think about it, if I could somehow magically take away the need to sleep and I could just do things for 24 hours, oh yeah, I've told people, that would be nice. But is it realistic? No, of course not. God designed things in such a way that we have to rest 1/3 of our existence. Not just rest, sleep. On top of that, we also have to rest often throughout the day. We have to sit down. We can't be just on our feet for 12 hours a day. But no, this is how nature is. We have to sleep for about 8 hours a day. And let me make that clear. People should get good sleep. If you're sleeping 5-6 hours a day, well, people are different. If you're one of that, something like 2% of society, who you can get 4 hours of sleep and the rest of the day you can just work, and that's how you've been for all of your life, and you were literally born that way, God bless you. That's wonderful. But for the vast majority of people, we need 8 hours of sleep, more or less. You can get 7. Some people need a touch more than 8. But we need to get our rest. Indeed, with anything that we do, how many examples can I give? You have a car. Can you drive your car 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? You never stop it. Maybe you just kind of park it, but you leave it going for 3 seconds so you can get out, someone else can get in and start driving it. Can you do that to your car? Yeah, you can, but your car is going to be worthless in a few years, very short years. How many years?
Depends on the car.
A good answer. But not many years. Yeah, the car will eventually die. True for any machinery. True for ourselves. What's the example I'm going to give? I've become an expert at this. What's the example I'm going to give? Yes, say it so people can hear.
Going to the gym.
Going to the gym, lifting weights. I've become an expert at this for the last dozen years or so. And I've made the mistake. I've injured myself, to be very blunt. This was a long time ago where I injured my rotator cuff. And why? Because I was doing things with 100 pounds and doing 50 reps. And then stopping because I reached failure. And then I would just take a few breaths and then try it again and try it again. And it got to the point where I injured myself and I had to have surgery, etc. And I learned the hard way. I didn't know. I didn't have anyone teaching me. I was just, wanted to do what I wanted to do. What do I do now? I make sure I rest. And without excuse, without worrying about it, I lift heavy weights. I do a lot. Then I put them down and, I seriously rest. I have my phone. I'll do correspondence on my phone, get back to people, who have messaged me in various places. I'll drink water, I'll just breathe. And then when I've rested sufficiently, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is, then I'll start reps again. And there's that balance. It's almost 50-50. How long it takes me to do reps, that's how long I rest. Pretty much. It's almost equal proportion. And as a result, again, I injured myself 10 years ago. I've never re-injured myself. Not even come close. Because now I know. You have to balance rest with doing, rest with doing. So to answer your question, I hope this answers your question at this point. It is okay to take it easy. Do not worry. Do not worry in any way. Very good. Very good. Let me say, not only is this not a bad question, But it is a perennial question throughout the history of philosophy. Augustine wrote about this, Thomas Aquinas wrote about this, so many individuals wrote about this. And that is the idea of predestination coupled with God's omniscience. Very simple. So the question is, Namaste Acharyaji, does God know our future if free will can change it, or does God delegate it to us? Let me say it is a good question. There is an answer. I'm not going to give it to you because I've answered it so many times. Rather, I'm hoping that someone who knows our videos very well can please give this person a reference to where I answer this question for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I explain exactly how there is no contradiction between, on the one hand, God having full omniscience, i.e., there is nothing that is outside of the knowledge of God on the one hand. On the other hand, that fact in and of itself is not a constraint upon our free will. In fact, I said I was not going to answer it this time. Let me just give this very quick example, and that will give people a chance to look for, again, videos where I answer this, and maybe put the link in the chat. If I am on top of, let's say a very large cliff, and far away from me, so far that really if I even yelled, the person couldn't hear me, but I can see there's another cliff. And I see the person walking toward the cliff, but they're looking up in the sky. They don't know that if they keep walking, they're going to fall. I know they're going to fall. You see, I have that knowledge. They, of their own free will, have chosen, I'm going to walk along a cliff looking up like this. That was their free will. And now they fall and they die. Did I make them fall and die because I knew that it was going to happen? Of course not. Of course not. Simply the knowledge of X thing does not mean that that knowledge in and of itself caused X thing. It's very simple, very logical, etc. And that's the answer. That's the answer to this seeming conundrum, which really isn't, of, how do you reconcile God's omniscience with the idea of free will? But again, hopefully someone can find where I answer this very in depth and provide that. But again, good question. Give me one moment, please. I see a question here that's in two parts, so I want to look at both parts. Not just one of them. Just give me a moment. All right. I'm sorry. For some reason, I'm not quite finding the second part. I see it says one of two. Oh, I see. It's way below. Okay. Yes. Give me a moment. That's why I was silent for a little while. I was looking for part two. Okay. Very good. All right. I will definitely answer this. But again, part one and two are separated by many questions in between. All right, so this is how this question goes. Namaste, Sri Acharyaji. With the mini golden age nearing by, will those who have struggled with achieving their svadharma, that is their purpose, find it easier to succeed in their endeavors? Let me answer this part first. Yes. Yes. With a golden age, first of all, what is meant by a golden age? It is, again, how I started this talk, an age of authenticity. It is an age in which all the nonsense is gone, all the distractions are gone, all the corrupt leaders are gone, all the materialism is gone. This being the case, people very naturally, as was the case many hundreds of years ago, people will have more of an ability and the time to be contemplative in their life and to actually do the most important things and to think of the most important things, including of themselves. That being the case, certainly it will be clearer to people what is their actual svadharma without, again, A, distractions, without B, artificial programming and propaganda to make them believe that their nature is X when it is Y, etc. So this being the case, understanding one's own svadharma, that is one's own purpose in life, will certainly be much easier than it is now. So, with that, let me just skip now to part 2 of your question, because I believe it was also quite good. And that is, will spiritual cultivation become easier as well for those who have struggled due to modernity? Thank you, Acharyaji and the ISDS, for all you do. Thank you also for being here. The same answer, yes, and for the same reasons. Spirituality will become much easier because, again, what have we been living in? And especially starting with Western society, that is American and European. When I say Western, of course, I'm not talking about our Western true heritage. I'm talking about modernity, the way it's been for the last 100, 200 years. That is radically atheistic, radically materialistic, etc., etc. What have we had? We have had every single institution in society, and I mean every institution, public and private, geared toward telling us to be the opposite of spiritual. So do we think that being spiritual in such an environment would be easier or more difficult? More difficult. Well, again, imagine when that's all gone. Oh, and trust me, it will be gone. This is not utopian thinking. At one time, it wasn't here. At one time, it was gone historically. This came about just a few hundred years ago. Doesn't matter if it's all that we've known. No, it's an artificial reality. Once that artificial, anti-spiritual reality is gone, what will happen? We will have the opposite. Imagine every institution nicely, kindly, gently encouraging us to be spiritual. Oh, practicing deep spirituality will become the norm. So I hope that answers the question. May I ask you a very quick question? I'm going to make an executive decision. How much time do you have before you have to get going? Approximately.
Probably enough.
Because what I'm thinking is, let us maybe, because I want to answer as many questions as I can. Let's put off the hanging of the painting for today.
Yeah.
Okay?
Or we can try after and see how it gets.
Okay, very good. Good. Yeah, if you have time, you let me know. If not, it's all right.
Okay.
You know, but yes, I see there are so many questions that, again, as long as it's all right with everyone, you don't have to run. I really would like to answer as many questions as I can because, you know, our people are good and sincere, and they deserve to have their questions answered. So give me a little bit of time, and we'll try to answer as many more as we can. Good question. Namaste, Acharyaji. Can evil people be saved? Does God forgive such people if they surrender to Him? This seems to be the Christian idea, but what is the Vedic perspective? Good, very good question. I will indeed answer this. Anyone can be saved if indeed they fully, sincerely, and honestly surrender to God, and then that coupled with everything that means. So we are very different from Christianity in this sense that I'm about to talk about. No, we don't believe in this idea that all you need in order to be saved is you simply make a statement, easy statement that you can put on a bumper sticker. Oh yes, I accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and oh, all right, I'm saved. No, we don't believe that salvation comes in that way, because even an evil person obviously can make that statement. But have they truly changed within? So when we say surrender to God, again, it is not in that same sense that, oh, God, I surrender to you, and even though I've been the evilest person and I've killed so many and I've stolen so much and on, oh, now I've said with my mouth, I surrender unto you, oh, everything is fine and forgiven. No, it's a matter of surrender being a process, not just an instant in time. We cultivate surrender. And what does it mean to cultivate surrender? What it means to cultivate surrender is that indeed we make ourselves the most virtuous and self-realized beings that we can be. That is, we become yogis. That is, we practice meditation. We practice the virtues. It means we do puja and sadhana, etc., in such a way that we reform who and what we are. So if an evil person does have a change of heart, and they want to, let's put it this way, they want to surrender to God. And now they cease to be evil. And they instead try to cultivate good and virtue and morality and ethics in who they are. And they try to change themselves within, from being a psychopath to now being somebody with true empathy and compassion. And they want to help others. They want to do the right thing. And in that way, little by little, they transform who they are within. Can such a person go from being evil to then being not just good, but truly having liberation in this world? Absolutely. And they can be forgiven. They can transcend their bad karma. And indeed, they can go on to be a wonderful person. Now, what is the evidence of this? Hundreds of pieces of evidence, including individuals who were bad people, evil people, one could say, historically, who ended up becoming sages, becoming saints, becoming very good people. Who was one of these people? I always have to remind people of this. Many people, including especially Hindus, people who know the Ramayana or think they do, they saw the TV series, something like that. I always have to remind them, Valmiki. Who is Valmiki? He wrote the Ramayana. He wrote one of our scriptures. He was a rishi. He was a liberated being who literally revealed one of our scriptures that we worship and that we follow to this day. What was he before he became Valmiki? He was an evil criminal. He was an evil criminal. I'm not going to tell the whole story. You can look it up yourself. But the point is, who did he encounter? Who do they always encounter? Narada Muni. He encounters Narada Muni, and again, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but Valmiki wants to change. He wants to change. And he is so accustomed to thinking of criminal activities and killing people and everything, to the point where this is what happens. Narada says to him, all right, now you are to change your life entirely. You are to be virtuous. You are to follow the ethical precepts, all of them, of Sanatana Dharma. You are to surrender your life to Lord Rama. You are to be vegetarian, etc., etc. And you're going to become a yogi now. And you're going to work toward only one thing, and that is liberation. And I want you to recite the Taraka mantra. I want you to recite Rama, 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 and meditate upon the name of Rama. And Valmiki said, yes, Naradaji, I will do this. And he could not make the sacred name of Rama come out of his mouth because he had been so evil. He wanted to talk about evil. You want to talk about evil. Imagine someone who they can't even say the name of God, even though they're trying. So then Narada thinks about this and he says, all right, that's fine. In that case, I'm going to give you a new mantra. This is what you're going to recite. Mara, Mara, Mara. What does that mean in English? That is Sanskrit. What is the English? Does anyone know? Death. Because he couldn't say Rama, so Narada said to him, okay, say Mara. Now, that may sound odd to people. No, Narada was not a new age fraud, saying, oh, just recite anything you want to recite. No, he had a plan. What is Mara? It's 2 syllables. Ma-ra. Reverse them. Ra-ma, Rama. So at first he's saying Mara, Mara. But then after some time it becomes Rama, 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 Rama. Narada, being the personification of wisdom, he understood that this is what we will do. We will trick the psyche of Valmiki such that he thinks he's saying death, and in actuality, in time, he'll be saying life. He'll be saying Rama. He'll be saying its opposite, God. So indeed, Valmiki, by practicing mantra meditation, by surrendering his life to Lord Rama, becomes absolutely liberated. So indeed, there's hope for even us. Very good, but good question. Very good. And let me warn people, even though I'm going to go over a little bit and take more questions, I've never seen so many questions on one live stream, actually. Others are monitoring too on their laptops. I will not be able to answer them all, even going over time. So if I skip your question, please, don't take it personally. There are just so many questions that I have no choice. Very nice. I will answer this, and it's another two-parter. Thankfully, they are right next to each other, so I can see them both. And the question is, I think ancient Spain had Vedic roots, as can be seen in river names like Deva and Goviendes. The question, would you please consider praying for the people who have been affected and continue to be affected by the recent floods in Spain? Very nice. Very good. Well, I will definitely answer this. First of all, indeed, ancient Spain had Vedic roots. When you talk about ancient Spain, of course, previous to, the Moorish conquest, previous to Spain even becoming Christian initially, Spain was Roman. So of course they worshipped the gods of ancient Rome. Previous to that, Spain was Celtic. So indeed, they worshipped the Celtic gods, all of who had correspondences with the Vedic gods. Well, now I shouldn't say all of who. There were also always there are localized divinities, but the major gods had correspondences with the Vedic gods. So the ancient people of Spain indeed were Vedic. They were indeed Vedic if you go back far enough. So that is indeed the case. And I've seen this before also, the names of these various rivers. When you have a river in Spain called Deva, that's pretty amazing. And then you ask here, would you please consider praying for the people who have been affected and continue to be affected by the recent floods in Spain? And let me say, yes, I have been keeping up with this actually. I know about these terrible floods that have killed so many people in Spain. It's absolutely terrible. And myself being half Spanish, I have roots in Spain. My other half is in Italy. Let me tell you, I absolutely will say a prayer for the people of Spain who have experienced these terrible floods, and indeed, we will do so right now, actually. Lord Sriman Narayana, we ask that you please bestow your blessings, that you please bestow your mercy and your grace upon all of the individuals in Spain, upon all the families in Spain who have lost their lives, who have lost loved ones, who have lost property due to these terrible floods that have occurred. We pray that you please help them, that you save them, and that you heal them from all terrible things that they have experienced. Jaya Shriman Narayana. Very good. All right. And indeed, thank you for that question and for that request that we pray for the people of Spain. Very good. And with that, I may maybe just answer one or two more questions at the very most. And then at that point, I do have something else that I want to say, that I want to end everything with. So those of you who have been with us for some time, please don't leave yet, because, again, I'm going to answer one or two more questions, and then at that point, I do want to make an announcement. Let me just look at what this is. Very good. There's a good question here, but it would take too long to answer, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to skip that one. Very nice. This is a statement more than a question, but I just want to read it because it's wonderful. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am a practicing Vaishnava, and that's the statement. Wonderful. And that I read the statement because it's beautiful. Thank you very much for saying that. And indeed, that is what we are. We are Vaishnavas. We are devotees of Sriman Narayana, of Vishnu, of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That is, being Vaishnavas, we wish to achieve the highest. That is, we want to know God in the deepest and most intimate and most loving way that we can. So thank you very much for that statement and indeed telling us that you are Vaishnava. There you go. I may take just one more question or so. And it's going to be hard to choose which one because, again, there's so many. Let me see. This may be the last question I'll take. Let me just read this a little carefully. Very good. I will indeed answer this. This is a very practical question, and as people know, when I can, I like to end things on a, let's say, life situation sort of question like this. Because to go deeply into philosophy is beautiful, it's wonderful, we have to, and I, of course, love philosophy as well. To talk about various aspects of Sanatana Dharma is wonderful, but then when it comes to a very practical question, how do I do this in life, given a life circumstance? These are very important. So let me read this. Namaste, Sri Acharyaji. In the case of a person who is married to a non-devotee or in a serious relationship with one, what should one do regarding the commitment to our spiritual path? Yes, this is a situation that many people today find themselves in. Because especially for individuals, let's say, living in the West, Sanatana Dharma is still relatively new. Of course, as I say that begs the question, of course, if you go back 2,000-3,000 years, this was the religion of Europe. But we're talking about, in the common era, meaning the last 1,500 years or so, something like that. Individuals who have begun, let's say, readopting Sanatana Dharma, very often you'll find one individual who, yes, they've committed themselves to the path, but maybe they're already married and their partner is following a different religion, or they're engaged, or whatever the situation is. So we find this very often. So indeed, what is to be done in such a situation? First of all, let me say, following the path of Sanatana Dharma, as far as following it, not following it, that's not an option. You as an individual, you being on this path, identifying yourself as a dharmi, knowing and saying to yourself, my religion is Sanatana Dharma, you are to endeavor to follow this path for the rest of your life. Now, when it comes to your partner, of course, it changes from situation to situation. You should indeed, in a very gentle way, a very compassionate way, do everything that you can to try to convince your partner also of the beauty and the merits of this path in such a way that your partner also will follow this path. Now, having said that, again, we don't believe in bothering people and preaching in fanatical ways or anything like that. We're not Abrahamists. We don't do that. We don't go bothering people and forcing our religion upon others. No, you have to do this in a very gentle way, in a very loving way. Just teaching and educating your partner. Introducing your partner to wonderful aspects of Sanatana Dharma, like meditation, for example. Even if a person is not radically spiritual or radically a follower of Sanatana Dharma, meditation is still something that is extremely helpful for them. It's helpful for the mind, it's helpful to reduce stress, and it is indeed helpful to begin to have a taste of true spirituality. So you can do meditation with your partner, and in this way, little by little, try to persuade your partner to begin little by little to adopt Sanatana Dharma as their culture, as their path. There doesn't have to be, as there often is with some religions, just a sudden, on the spot, on the moment, radical conversion of the person, Paul of Tarsus on the road to Damascus, sort of conversion. Doesn't have to be anything like that. Again, we're not Abrahamists. But rather, there can be a slow progression in the person's understanding and practice of this path. If, on the other hand, a person is, let's say, a fanatical follower of a different religion, that, of course, makes it much more difficult. And that also begs the question that if you yourself are a follower of Sanatana Dharma, why would you find yourself even attracted to or married to or engaged to, let's say, someone who is a fanatic of a different religion? That would be kind of odd to begin with. And there's not a lot that can be done with such a situation, so I can't really give advice on that. But otherwise, if your partner is open-minded, you do indeed want to begin to persuade that person to begin to follow Sanatana Dharma. Again, we're very honest about this. This idea of blending families religiously, oh, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Baptist, and let's just get married and hope for the best. That doesn't work. The only time it does work is if neither party cares about religion, and they just call themselves such and such, and they're just kind of secular to begin with. Then it can kind of work, but then their life in general doesn't work for other reasons, because they're not religious. But yes, as long as it is the case that your partner is not fanatical, you can certainly, in time, convince them to follow Sanatana Dharma. And that is the best thing for the peace of the family, for the couple, as well as for the children. You don't want to confuse your children. That's why I say to people that a couple, two individuals getting married, and they have radically different religious views, that's only going to harm their children, because their children are going to be very confused. Better that they share one religion, and if it's not Sanatana Dharma, fine. If you have two committed Christians, good, let them get married, have children, raise their children as Christians, or whatever the religion is, Buddhists, etc. But when it comes to Sanatana Dharma as well, better that both parents share the same religion. So that's what you want to strive for, as much as possible. Very good. So with that, again, sadly, we're going to stop here because we're way over time. Shall I say something? You want me to say something now, or I can say next Sunday?
Whatever you think.
Next Sunday.
Okay.
I'll say that because it's closer to the actual day, and it's the weekend. It's that weekend, so I'll say it then. Good. Very good. So with that, I want to end by saying this, and again, a very practical thing. I talked earlier about the International Sanatana Dharma Society and what is the nature of this movement, a little bit of the history of the movement, what the movement does, and why it's different from every other Vedic / Hindu / yogic / spiritual movement upon the face of the earth. The things that we're doing are very, very different. If you're new to our channel and you don't quite know what I'm talking about, join our Discord server when you can. Come to know the ISDS more and more, and you'll see how our mission is truly a world transformative and civilizational one. This is not a cult, it's not a sect, it definitely is not a business, it's a non-profit. It's not just a utopian, well-meaning movement, as there are so many thousands of movements in the world, political, spiritual, cultural, etc. This is something that is different. And no, it doesn't matter that they all say they're different. This is different in this way. Our mission is to recreate, really, a civilization upon the earth. Not just to have converts, not just to grow for the sake of growing. Oh, our group is the best. Oh, look, we're growing. We have more members today than yesterday. No. We have a mission, and that is to create a grand civilization upon this earth. And we know what a civilization means. We've studied what a civilization means more than anyone has. We mean in every single respect. The ISDS is a movement whose mission is to create a civilization of Dharma upon the earth. And that being the case, that is a grand vision. Many other movements, they'll have one issue. They're one-issue movements. They'll have a few issues. Or, again, they'll have their sect and their theology that they're pushing, etc. With our vision is so grand that when we explain it to people, for some people, it is overwhelming for them. For other people, it excites them. That we say our goal is to create a civilization in the future and to transform this world so thoroughly that we want to transform every single blade of grass upon this earth. Again, that either is daunting for some people, for others it excites them. But that's what we are, and that's what we always have been and what we always shall be. That is the International Sanatana Dharma Society. We have a big vision. We have big goals. We have big projects. And the only way that we can achieve these big goals, these big projects, this enormous mission is indeed with your help. And let me be very practical now. You know, we're coming to the close of 2024. This is already late November of 2024. And like every single nonprofit on the face of the earth, at least certainly in America, because we have a special system here, we are beginning our year-end fundraising campaign. We do this every year. This is not a surprise to anyone. Every single year we have a fundraising campaign, again, as does pretty much every nonprofit on earth. And what I want to do now is to appeal to all of you to please help us. Please help us to raise funds. We want to raise many, 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 many thousands of dollars for all of the missions, all the projects that we have going on, and we have many. If you can, please help us to achieve our goals. This campaign is going to go on from now until December 31st, 11:59 p.m., right before midnight. And the reason why is because for those of you who live in America, you know that donations are tax exempt. You can write them off. And if you want to be able to write off your donations for this year, once you have to do taxes for next year, you have to do that before, again, the deadline, before December 31st at 11:59. So we're asking that you not wait till that last second, but that you please donate as soon as possible. And your donation can be anything. It can be $5. It can be $5 million. Indeed, I'm always very honest and blunt about these things. It's hard for me to ask for money on the one hand, but then on the other hand, when I do, like the rest of my life, I'm very honest and just very forthright about this. Oh, we're waiting for angel donors to appear. We're waiting for someone out there to give us $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. And trust me, we already know how we would spend every single penny as a movement, as a nonprofit. We have it down. We know exactly what we would do. But if you can donate $5, if you can donate 50, 500, 5,000, 50,000, whatever it is, no amount is too small. No amount is too small. You know, we have incense that we have to buy. A packet of incense costs about $3. Give us $3. That will be a packet of incense. We have to pay for electricity here. I forget. I'm not sure how much we pay. Oh, but let's say it's a few $100s. Please give us a few $100s. That will pay for the utilities here for 1 or 2 months. You know, and on and on and on. There is no such thing as a small amount. And as far as a big amount, there's no limit. Please help us in every way that you can. I believe that the link, I think I saw it, the link is there already in the chat. Please follow that link. And it's very, very simple. You can either pay through PayPal. If you go to the website that link brings you to, if you want to just write a check, the address is on there too. And again, we don't play games. It's not a post office box. No, it's the address of this place. You can send a check right here. And again, it can be for any amount. But please help us so that we can continue to grow the ISDS. Again, this is a movement where, you know, I don't go on and on talking about the ISDS very much. During this time of year, I kind of have to speak to people about everything that we've done. You know, we try not to, speak about ourselves too much. But, we have done a lot. Again, 13 books published, hundreds of videos put out. This live stream that goes on every week. We've done this for 5 years. We put out videos for something like 17 years or however long it's been. We own this building, mortgage-free now, thankfully. We were paying a mortgage on our beautiful temple headquarters here for quite some time. Now it is mortgage-free because you donated. Because people out there last year donated enough money that we could just write a check and say, here you go. Here's the rest of what we owe you. And thank God for that. But indeed, we have accomplished a lot. We have a movement now that we can truly call the International Sanatana Dharma Society. We have serious supporters in approximately 70 nations of the world. At one time, we were pretty much just America and Canada, then America, Canada, and the UK, and India. And that was about it. Now we're in 70 nations, and on and on. So we have made very good use of the donations that you have given us in the past, last year, for the last 10 years, for the last 20 years, etc. We ask that now especially, now more than any year actually, that we are indeed about to enter into a golden age. Oh my Lord, we need this movement more than ever. We need millions of dollars. Again, I'm being blunt with you because I am about everything, about philosophy, about everything I speak about. I'm going to be blunt with you about this too. We need tens, hundreds of millions of dollars because we have a movement that we want to spread to every single town and village of this earth. We want to transform every sector of this world in such a way that everyone will understand what is Sanatana Dharma. To this day, you can go to many, I'm in America, so you can go to many Americans and you'll say to them, have you heard of Sanatana Dharma? Have I heard of what? What is that? And then you'll say, Hinduism. Yeah, Hinduism. Yeah, I've heard of that. But people still don't 100% understand this term Sanatana Dharma. We want it to come to the point where there is no man, woman, and child who hasn't heard this term, Sanatana Dharma, and can at the very least give a nice little definition. That Sanatana Dharma religion, doesn't that mean the eternal natural way? How amazing would that be? That you can go to a grocery store and you can speak to the bagger and say, have you heard of Sanatana Dharma? Oh, sure, yeah, you mean the religion, Sanatana Dharma? How amazing would that be? And of course, I'm just using this as a cute little example. Oh no, we want to transform this world. We want Sanatana Dharma to become a true force in this world the way that it was 2, 3, 5, 10,000 years ago. And we can only do that with your actual helping us, being volunteers, helping us to do outreach, get the word out, let people know about the videos, etc., spread our links. And we also need donations. We need you to help us in any way that you can. Let me make this clear. If you are in a position where you cannot donate $1, please don't. No. Again, we're not dishonest televangelists, just give and forget about if you're going to starve. No, take care of yourself. If you're not doing well, you're unemployed, something like that, use every penny to get yourself back on your feet. Take care of yourself, take care of your family. But if you're the typical person and you do indeed have a little bit of excess, please help us in every way that you can. Please donate. Again, whether it's $5, $50, $500, $5,000, $5 million. Please help us, please help us, please help us to grow. And that being the case, our family of the ISDS will continue to grow, and more, we will have an impact upon this earth, the likes of which no religious movement has had. At least, let's say, in the last 1,000 years. So with that is my message to you. Please follow that link and donate if you can. Also, join our Discord server. I need to mention that as well. Again, I haven't looked, but hopefully the link to the Discord server is up. Please follow that link if you would like to join our online community. We have a community on Discord. It has hundreds of devotees of the International Sanatana Dharma Society on there. And there is talk, there is discussion, there are group meetings, there are classes that take place on there 24/7. It doesn't matter where you are in this world, what your time zone is. We have people in Bangladesh, we have people in India, we have people in Japan, we have people in Burma, we have people in the length and breadth of Europe from Ireland to the Ural Mountains. Indeed, we have a few people in Siberia. We have people throughout North and South America and on. Australia, God knows. We had one of our wonderful students from Australia live with us for 2 weeks not long ago, actually. He lived here in the temple. Whatever your time zone, you can come to our forum and you can ask questions. You can have fellowship with other dharmis. So join our Discord server. Very good. And the last thing I'll say is, as always, visit our website, dharmacentral.com. And our books are available there. We have a beautiful mantra meditation album that is available. We have many articles and many things that are on there as well to help you on your journey in Sanatana Dharma. And with that, I thank you all for being here. Please join us again next Sunday. And in the meantime, everyone, Namaste. Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Shriman Narayana.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Bhagavan Shri Krishna.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Jaya Shri Guru.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Sanatana Dharma Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Dharma Rashtra Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
Surya Vangsha Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
International Sanatana Dharma Society Jayate.
Victory to Sanatana Dharma. Evam Bhavatu. May such victory be so. Oh, and the victory of Sanatana Dharma in this world is absolutely assured and will be so. With that, everyone, I ask you all to please take very good care of yourselves, and in the days, weeks, and months ahead especially, I ask you all that you please in every single way abandon all fear. Abandon all fear. And in the words of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Ma Shuchaha, do not fear. Do not fear. Do not fear.